Dun dun dun! Hello, Internet, and Happy New Year! I hope you all had a good holiday season, whatever your faith or non-faith may have been. Well, seeing how everyone's talking about Avatar this week, last half of the month, I guess I might as well talk about it for a very short period. Seeing how I've seen Dances with Wolves, and Fern Gully, and The Last Samurai, and most Vietnam War movies, and was a cadet during the War on Oil, and have read most arguments regarding the War on Terror. Nothing new to me. We all knew Cameron was a hippie. It's very beautiful. I hope it wins the special effects Oscar, because if anything deserves it, it does. But if it wins anything other than that, if it does like a Titanic sweep, that will be a crime, and people will have to suffer for it. Anyway, what's actually been a bit more interesting has been some of the rants about Avatar, whatever. One that I've got, my little notebook here, notebook, was that there's been its relationship to, say, The Last Samurai or Dances with Wolves, in which the white man comes down, goes native, and then supports the natives in their struggle, and it's through this white savior that everything is made all hunky and dory, and people kind of see a racism there. One of the statements I'd read said something to the extent that Avatar is a movie about the theoretical noble savage, your traditional communing with nature native, as viewed through the stereotypes of the white man. And that's of course a bad thing, because it's horribly, horribly racist and stereotypical. I thought about that for a moment, but okay, we know that Cameron's been working on this for 15 years, and the last time I checked, James Cameron is a white man. So he will naturally have the experiences of a white man and the general attitudes of a white man. So what is he supposed to think like? A Maori? Is he supposed to think like one of those uncontacted tribes out in the Amazon that they flew over with the plane a few years ago to take some pictures of? It's my opinion that racism and biases are going to happen. It's just natural. And it's natural because we as humans are individuals. We don't have a hive mind. We are all individual animals that are mildly eusocial for survival purposes, but we're all stuck inside our own heads. We can't think like someone else does. We can imagine what we would do in someone else's shoes. We can empathize with them. We can role play, we can theorize about how these other people think and act accordingly, but we never truly know. Empathy is a inherently selfish activity, because how would I feel if I were you? How would you feel if you were me? All we've got is our own experiences, our own reality that we can confer with, that we can use as a basis for understanding, and no one else's. And so expecting us to somehow draw out of an experience, draw inherently on a very basic instinctual level on experiences that we do not necessarily share with other people, or with other people's experiences that we do not, that we don't have. That's asking the moon on a string. It's impossible. A white man does not know what it is like truly what it is like to live as a black woman. A black woman does not truly know what it is like to live as a white man. And I use white and black. It's not really a racial thing. It's a cultural thing, which becomes a racial thing because it's a cultural thing. Because you have racial stereotypes which are a cultural element, blah 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 blah. Fact is, socioeconomic group A does not know what it's like to be in socioeconomic group B. And those can be as different as northerner and southerner in a lot of cases. Someone who grew up in the north does not truly understand what it is like to be someone who grows up in the south, and vice versa. Someone who grows up in Canada does not know what it is like to be someone who grows up in Afghanistan. This is very basic. And so, no matter what, based on someone's upbringing, which is based on their social class, their social, even less than class, more of their social realm, their monkey sphere, the group, the nebulous group which surrounds them, that makes up their environment, is going to define how someone views the world to a great extent. It's going to dictate what experiences that person has and what palette that person has to empathize with others. And so when you stand there and criticize someone for using the palette they have, what does it produce? I mean, you can't. If you want to have a movie truly about, I don't know, the black experience in America, it's going to be made by a black guy, because he or she is going to have the experience. If you want a movie about the true story of the Native American experience, it's going to be made by a Native American. If you need the true story of the Iraqi experience, it's going to be made by an Iraqi. And that's okay. If someone in their best effort is trying to make a movie about someone they're not, and they're giving it their honest best, but because of the general biases and misunderstandings and mistranslations and misassumptions that they make in producing it, it makes no real sense to break their balls over it, because they're not intentionally trying to say, oh yeah, look at these people, look at these blue-skinned people, they're inferior, they need a white man to come and save them, which is pretty much not the message of the movie. And just as it wasn't the message in Dances with Wolves, and it wasn't the message in The Last Samurai, but it inevitably happens because the main character is white, and the writers, being primarily white, kind of go, wait, that was a problem? Really? Crap. And to say that, okay, if they don't know about it, then they can't do anything about it, which is the next step. They can't say anything, they don't have the right. Well, okay, guess what? You're censoring, and therefore, you're wrong. All you have to understand is Cameron's a white guy, so he's going to come in with the biases of a white guy, and if his work shows the biases of a white guy, take it into account. And if it's not like, if it doesn't become the Song of the South, well actually I meant Birth of a Nation, but if it doesn't become a Birth of a Nation, who cares? It's just someone trying to do his best and not say that, yeah, y'all have to rely on my particular socioeconomic group. It's that simple. Anyway, I'm gonna cut it off now. Leave comments if you care. If you don't, that's your problem. And have a good one, Internet.